Okay.
All right.
Socially awkward with Evan Wecksell. In the background, you see I have Theta Chi behind me because my guest here, my Facebook friend of the week, well, not the week, just of the whenever, is Brandon Hurley, as I know him, a brother from University of Central Florida from way back when, but now you're in Vietnam, hence the background. How are you, brother Hurley?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. When you sent me the invite, I was thinking about it. I think you slept on my couch maybe 15 years ago now.
I did. What happened is I had a very inconvenient Southeast tour, not very profitable for about, I'd say 10 days. I drove about maybe 2,000 miles. And one of my stops was UCF, and you guys hooked me up with Wackadoo's food at Wackadoo's. I went up on open mic night. It was great. And they were very gracious, and they offered me free food afterwards, but they haven't had me back since. So we'll see. Still trying. But yeah, it was good time. And that's obviously how we met. How is the college you different from the Vietnam 2021 you right now?
Man, well, much less hair. We'll start at the top. Much less hair, bigger beard.
Okay.
But I just feel like I have learned a lot more about the world. And that sounds kind of cliche, but I had a talk with a guy right after university. I actually trained jujitsu with him, and he was an optometrist, I believe. And I told him, I said, yeah, I have dreams of staying here. I'm going to do my master's and my PhD at UCF, and then do this and everything in Orlando. And he said, hey man, you got to get out of here. Like, he's telling he did his master's here, his doctorate here. He said, you can't just stay here forever. You're going to really regret that. You need to go somewhere else. And it kind of planted a seed, talked to some other people, and man, I ended up here. And I can't imagine if I would have stayed in Orlando much longer. Let's say 11 more years, I guess. No, I'm sorry.
So how long have you been? So you've moved to Vietnam, or was there a stop before that?
Nope. Moved to Vietnam 7 years ago. This September.
And you're pretty much bilingual now, or?
Yeah, I mean, I would say I don't say fluent, because Vietnamese is very difficult when it comes to actually saying it, like speaking the language like a native and picking up on the different voices. But when it comes to everyday conversation or getting a task done or going on TV, I can handle myself confidently. So much more than I ever thought I would know Vietnamese in the past. Let's say that.
Yeah, because it's so it's just so intriguing. I see what you're posting, but it's written in Vietnamese. So I'm not totally sure what is. The only picture I get in my head is this old SNL skit of when Mike Myers was the host of the Asian game show, and Chris Farley was the contestant, like, oh, I didn't mean go on a Japanese game show. I meant see a Japanese. And all of a sudden he's like chopping off his arm and everything. And but what is this show? Is this like one of the first things you build to what you're doing right now? What is the show that you're a part of? Because you've blue check marked your way to this from going to another country.
Got the blue check. It is a very interesting story. I will try to condense it as much as I can. But in 2018, I'd been here about 4 years. I went on TV to do some eating shows, but nobody really knew who I was.
Like hosting it, or as a contestant?
Just as kind of like a contestant, like super small. They're like, hey, will you eat anything? I'm like, yeah. And it's like, foreigners eat anything. And the first dish they gave me was rat.
Oh,
they gave me 2 rats, and I'm like, oh, well, I've never eaten rat. I mean, I guess first time on TV, let's do it. And then ate goat testicles.
Oh my gosh.
Like fermented paste, all kinds of things like that.
Oh my
God. But a friend of mine, he's really a regular viewer, you could say, of travel vlogs and travel videos. And he said, man, I watch these guys and they're interesting places, but their personalities are not interesting. He said, if you did YouTube over here, you would blow up. And I said, yeah, I did video in the past. Maybe I could give it a try. And he actually gifted me. Hold on, I have it here.
Yeah, show me.
He gifted me his MacBook.
Oh, good. It's okay. I can imagine.
So yeah, he gave me his MacBook to have a computer, to have a laptop to edit on. And I just jumped right in, and him and we had a discussion. We're like, hey, what can we do with my Vietnamese language skill and my personality to make sure that everybody knows about my channel? And we came up with this viral idea where, like in Vietnam, in Saigon, and well, pretty much the whole country, there's a problem with dog theft for dog meat.
Wow.
I know it's a stereotype, but it's actually true.
Yeah.
Like you take your dog out, like it can get snatched up real quick and be sold for dog meat. So I used that as a starting point and said, okay, well, I want a different pet. I want a pet chicken because I don't want to get a dog stolen. And I get a chicken. Cockfighting is also a thing that happens here.
Right.
So all the guys, they have these big roosters, these big male chickens. I get a tiny little girl chicken, but I tell everybody that I think it's a cockfighting chicken. And then I go to buy traditional Vietnamese clothes, but it turns out they're traditional women's pajamas. So I put the chicken on a leash and I walked it through Saigon speaking Vietnamese to people in women's pajamas. And you can imagine how fast those pictures spread. And then one day I have 1,000 friend requests on Facebook.
Wow.
I get in all the newspapers in Vietnam. And then they gave me my own TV show. They said, here, we want to make a TV show about you. And then I've been on game shows and talk shows and eating shows since then. So here we are 2.5 years later, 400,000 more subscribers, and wow, it worked out well.
So that's your channel. Is your channel separate from the show, or is the show now part of your channel?
The channel's separate from the show. So in summer 2019, so 2 years ago now, they gave me a show. They called it One Day with PHUC. And we just went around and did things in the city, and they had a TV crew follow me, and really basic. Then I got on a game show, which was similar to, I won't say similar to Jeopardy, but similar to the level of Jeopardy in Vietnam, like on, primetime television. And I ended up winning that somehow. And then now I'm on a talk show with foreigners that speak Vietnamese, and we debate different topics and things.
Oh, so it's like, is it pop culture, or is it like current events? Or
it's everything. We talked about beauty pageants, we talked about dog meat, we talked about divorce, we talked about being single. Tonight's episode is about, should you go out and travel while you're young, or should you wait until you're old? So it's different topics. Tonight is actually the last episode of the season on TV tonight. Wow.
So people are already from all over the world. They come to this show, and it's like I don't know what I'd compare it to. It's definitely like real time with Bill Maher, in a way where they'll talk, they're mostly political, but like you're just all kind of shooting the breeze about certain issues.
Exactly. Can I share a picture with you?
Here, I'm going to give you that permission. You can share your screen with me.
And I'll just give you an example. So it worked out good because, let's see. I got to open it up here. It worked out well because, like I said, I kind of built a name through my channel, being one of the only foreigners doing comedy here, on YouTube. There's a few, but one of the only foreigners doing comedy. Let's see. Tonight's episode is right.
And is this like, how is television in Vietnam? Do they have is it all the cable channels like back in the United States, or are there less channels available?
I would say there are less. Yeah. It's called VTV, Vietnamese television. Yeah. Okay, let me share this real quick. Here we go.
It's always funny.
Okay, so on tonight's episode, we have me over here on the side.
Right.
We have a guy from Syria who's lived here for about 4 years.
Yeah.
A guy from Nigeria who's been here 9 years, speaks great Vietnamese. Yeah. This girl, she's from France, but her mom's from Russia. This is Miss Vietnam. And then the host is Vietnamese guy. And then this girl is from Korea, and she studies Vietnamese in Vietnam. And this girl is half Russian, half Vietnamese, and lives in Vietnam.
Wow. It seems like the real world with substance.
Yeah, I wish we did more of a real world vibe, but yeah, we just sit there and they bring up a topic and they're like, okay, well, according to your country, how do you see this topic? And we share our opinions.
Wow. So then do you like, did each of those people on that show have like a certain like fan club? Do you have audiences, live audience there, like cheering for certain people? Like, you know, the Brandon
Yes
boys?
and no.
No.
Yes and no.
Yeah.
You can go on the live chat on the premiere on YouTube.
Right.
They're like, oh, I watched the show just for this person or this
Mhm.
person. And yeah, but it's not really, it's less of a competition, more of just sharing. And most of the people on the show I already knew. Again, there's a small group of foreigners that actually make content here in Vietnam.
Right.
So, you know, me, I'm very social. I've made it my mission to meet just about all of them already. So it was a very comfortable experience filming the show.
Are there things about living in Vietnam that's like unique to other countries, or can you say it's similar to like life in this country, or can you compare it to anything from having been to other countries or what you've heard or anything like that?
It is a very interesting community, and I say that in a good way. Like the bond that they have. Like I've only been to countries in Asia, so I can only make those comparisons. The other countries have something similar to that, but I feel like the community here, I mean, you know, a kid can get lost and somebody is going to go, hey, where's this kid need to go? You know, let me help you. Or, you know, somebody can have a flat tire on their bike and somebody else will push their bike while driving theirs. Like, to me, at least compared to America, like the bond in the community, it's more like they have one mission, one goal. I'm sure there's different opinions, but you're either Vietnamese or you're not Vietnamese. There's no in between.
I mean, you don't have to give obviously any opinions, but how has the country dealt with the breakout, the outbreak or the pandemic? Is it like government's different than most places, or is it kind of most of what you'd see is happening there as well?
I just did a video on this, so I'll share the information that I found for the video. But they're very focused on protecting the people, where they say, okay, like right now they have what's called Directive 16, where we're in lockdown. You know, I'm not supposed to go out of the house unless it's for food or to the hospital or whatever else. And they've had a mask mandate. If it is a place that's still open, yes. So for my teaching English, I'm only teaching online. So I'm just at the house.
Right, because you were also teaching as well. I remember you saying that. Was it just you're teaching English to people all over the world? Is it mostly people in Vietnam that want to learn?
Just Vietnam.
Yeah. Oh,
that's how I started over here, was teaching English just to try out 1 year, and I fell in love with it.
Right.
And I fell in love with my wife. So I just had a lot of reason to stay over here.
Oh, amazing. Yeah, I mean, I've used it. I mean, I use Zoom. I mean, I tutored mostly like all over the country since stuff has been happening here. And some people have been like international, where I'd be like, oh, tutoring someone in China this week, you know, or tutoring someone from Oman let me know about Zoom in the first place when I was tutoring him like 12 hours ahead. So yeah, it's pretty fascinating, I guess. Where would you have then been teaching in person if you could?
Oh yeah. I actually live right around the corner from my language center.
Okay.
I've been at the same one since I came to the country, and it's great because I have variety. Being a language center, it's all year round, and I can have all the way down to 4 years old, all the way up to 40 or 50 years old. Like I'll teach every level. So throughout the week, I don't have to teach the same thing. I do kids on the weekends.
Sure.
I have some adults during the week, teenagers other days. So it's a good variety.
Yeah. And with your show, is it the kind of thing where it's like, we're going to renew you another season? Or is it like the kind of thing that could go on forever? It could be like, you know, like the Wheel of Fortune of topical Vietnamese issues just going on with the same people for like 30, 40 years. How do you?
We were actually supposed to be filming last week. You know, we got news last month because we filmed 16 episodes within a period of like a couple weeks.
Right.
And they're like, hey, we're going to film in the beginning of July. We're going to do maybe like 4, 5, 6 more episodes. It's like, great, cool, I'm ready. And then the lockdown. So we're not allowed to go and film.
Wow. And there's like, is there a timeline on that? Or is it just kind of like waiting until things
waiting.
just waiting. Yeah. Okay.
I'm not so worried about that.
Yeah.
Because, I got on 9 episodes. I've been on TV before,
Yeah.
it's a good experience, but what really hurt me is I have a movie that I cameoed in, like a feature film.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to premiere next week, but all the cinemas are closed. I don't know what they're going to do.
Yeah. Oh man, I got to push all that off. I mean, yeah, even like movies that were supposed to come out like a year ago are finally like coming out here in the States. Like Black Widow just came out, and Suicide Squad is going to come out soon. And yeah, it's kind of nuts. But then like you have these apps like HBO Max where you're all of a sudden you can like stream the movie right away. It's like, why wait? Yeah. So
yeah, they had to come up with a solution.
Yeah, definitely. Have you been in touch with Theta Chi brothers from UCF? Are there still some people you get in touch with?
Just Facebook comments. You can look on some of my recent posts, and like Matt Pollitt, I think you met him.
Okay.
Chris Marauder was on one. Okay. Just comments and back and forth on Facebook. But yeah. Man, I feel like I've been gone for so long that even the people that I was close with right when I left in downtown Orlando,
right?
It's been almost a decade. It's like, man.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even know, like, usually I would be like harassing all the chapters, like, who wants to do a show? But it's almost like to a point where like either, the logistics just wouldn't map themselves out, but he's just out of curiosity. If like you're ever in the area, you'd want to hit up a place. But yeah, I mean, it was a big chapter. I remember meeting as like one of the biggest like UCFs at that time. It was like the one of the hip, like new for like the first few years it was like around. So it's definitely like one of the hip ones.
When I was there, it got established. It was being built when I started. It got established, and then we became official in my time there. And I remember, I want to say it was close to 100, if not 100 members.
Wow. Yeah.
That changes after Rush. It was a lot.
Right. Yeah, I remember. There was a big campus. I remember getting like gas at a mobile nearby, like to fill up the rental car. But I haven't been back to UCF since, but it just seemed like a good time. What other things like I don't know, the only thing I feel like in America that they know about Vietnam or that's in the consciousness of America is either the Vietnam War or Miss Saigon. Are these things big deals in Vietnam? Is it still on the minds of a lot of the citizens as the Mike Vietnam correspondent?
I would say older. Yeah. I like, obviously they lived through it. Yeah. But younger, it rarely comes up. I get treated with a lot of respect, even when they, hear that I'm American. I get treated with, just a very hospitable personality from most people. And obviously, like you look at my channel or my TV shows, like I interact with a lot of Vietnamese, and most everyone, they're very friendly. I did have one one student, a younger student. He said, "Hey, teacher, do you know about the war with America? Because they call it the American War." Wow. I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Did you fight in that?" I said, "Man, I'm like 33 years old, man. That was like 50 years ago." He's like, "Well, did you have any part in it?" I'm like, No, I didn't. But
say I own the video game though. No.
Yeah, exactly. They actually, I think they prohibited one of the Call of Duties from being released here. Wow. Because it had that in it. Wow. Yeah, it had something with Vietnam and the UN, or one of my Vietnamese friends explained it to me. But yeah, one of the Call of Duties they like prohibited here.
Oh my gosh. Do you have a Vietnamese name, or do they call you Brandon Hurley on air?
Nope, it's it's PHUC Mop.
PHUC Mop. That's what I saw when you signed in. PHUC Mop.
Yes, so
and that would be like, would that be what every Brandon Hurley would be called, or is it kind of a no?
So a buddy of mine, I gotta kind of break it down a little bit, but a buddy of mine, he chose the name Phuc Bao for him when he came here, and we were traveling together. And this Vietnamese lady, she's like, "Well, what's your Vietnamese name?" I don't have one yet. He's Phuc Bao. And she said, "Well, he's Phuc Bao, you're Phuc Bao." And Bao means fat. So
like Stop Bao. No.
And and then Phuc translates to happy. So it's like happy and fat.
So it's kind of like you got to kind of choose your own path in terms of your Vietnamese name. It's
Yeah,
like
they don't really
like naming a baby.
Yeah, they like, for example, my friend Chris, he would just call himself Karit, you know, to use their words, because they don't, it's not like I'm not super familiar with Chinese or Japanese alphabets, but I know that you can translate names over, as opposed to Vietnamese, you would just kind of sound it out, which like maybe they would do in that language as well. But yeah. They just kind of sound it out. So another guy, Dustin, is Dutin. Dutin,
Okay.
You know, so it just depends on the name. But instead of doing Brandon or Hurley, I just went with Fukmop, and it stuck. And then everybody became to know me as Fukmop, and now I have it tattooed on my side.
Oh my gosh. So now is that the thing you're known as more than Brandon Hurley then? Like you have this alter ego, or
for sure.
Would you ever do would you ever create an interview show where Brandon Hurley was interviewing Fukmop? Like it was almost like two different personalities.
I've done that. So one thing is, it's like, and again, this isn't speaking about everybody, but in general, you know, the Vietnamese, they like see a foreigner. I told you before, Vietnamese or foreigner. That's it. Like you're either Vietnamese or you're not.
Everyone else,
especially if you're both white or you're both black. Like they just assume that you know each other or you're friends, or and
all white
I say
people
that
know each other.
exactly. And I say that because there was a homeless German guy here, right? And now this guy is my friend, not the German guy, but a Vietnamese guy went to help him. He has a YouTube channel, and he went to interview him, went to help him. And, you know, the Vietnamese guy doesn't speak English or German. So he's like interviewing, and this guy was legitimately crazy. Like he's saying, you know, the German police are after him. And, you know, anyway, point is the video got like 1 million views. Somebody commented, "Hey, Fukmop can help him. Here's his phone number." And they put my phone number on this viral video, and I'm getting calls all day, all night in Vietnamese, messages. "Fukmop, are you going to help that German guy?" I'm like, "I don't know him. I'm going to tell him to go."
Are you going to help Uncle Steve?
Yeah. And I had to make a video to explain my position.
Video reply.
Would you mind if I show it real quick?
Yeah,
I'll just show you
definitely.
the clip. So this ties into what you're saying. It's actually probably in my top 10 most popular videos ever. Okay. Because I put it out while this guy made the video, and basically I just try to put it into like, if you were Vietnamese in America and people come up to you and say, "Hey, can you help this Chinese guy?" And be like, "But why are you asking me?" You know, so let's see. Okay. This is me doing an interview with, share the screen here.
Yeah. Okay, so is that, oh, it's you interviewing you. There we go. You've done that.
So this is the exact situation that happened to me here.
Okay, I'm not hearing it, but I mean, as long as we can read it, that's all good.
Sorry. Let me share the sound.
You can share that. Yeah,
there we go. Okay.
Hey, Fook. Hey, what's going on, man? So look, there's this Chinese guy on the road, and he lost his paperwork. Can you help him? Maybe, but why does everyone keep asking me about this guy? Well, we figured because you're Vietnamese and he's Chinese, but I'm not Chinese. Vietnamese like 50% Chinese, and you're both Asian, so can you help him? Well, why don't you just tell him to go to the Chinese embassy then? Yeah, we could, but you're both Asian, so could you tell him?
So it's like, that was my message to the Vietnamese, and it got 460,000 views. So they're trying to get the point across, like, guys, I'm white, he's white, but tell him to go to the embassy. What do you want me to do?
It's like one of the first episodes of King of the Hill when the neighbor moves in down there, and the guy's like, "I'm from Laos," and then he's like, "Oh, so you're Chinese or Japanese?" "No, I'm from Laos, next to Vietnam." Oh,
Exactly.
Chinese or Japanese, I'll tell you what. So yeah, that's totally playing
And
off
that's
of.
one of the things that when moving over here, it's like I gained an appreciation. I gained knowledge, understanding of the different Asian countries and their cultures,
Yeah.
because that is a fault of a lot of Americans. And I actually talk about that tonight on the TV show,
Yeah.
is that they they don't know anything. I mean, how are they supposed to? But they don't know anything about other cultures, especially like in Asia. They go, oh,
Right.
Corona, you're Asian, you brought Corona. Like, what?
So yeah, and like I feel like we look at Europe as like a country, and the states are the nations.
For
And then
sure.
like
For sure.
in here, it's like almost like each of our states now in America are almost like they're turning into their own countries based on what's been going on with different rules and everything. But yeah,
That's
it's
what I'm
kind of
hearing.
interesting. Yeah, yeah.
But
Very
then you
interesting.
feel like I actually didn't know a lot of Europeans, if any, before moving over here. I met a
Yeah.
lot of travelers,
Yeah.
and it makes you feel kind of sorry, my light died.
Yeah, that's okay.
It makes you feel kind of bad, kind of like as an American, we might study Spanish in school, but all these European travelers, they speak multiple languages. It's
Yeah.
just normal.
Yeah.
Especially people from like the Netherlands or France, or they all speak English and their language. And I'm like, I studied Spanish, but I don't really remember much. And it makes you think like, man, in America, we really are less cultured than many other developed countries.
Do you have any aspirations to go to countries outside of Asia, or are there different Asian countries you still want to get to that we haven't been there enough?
Man, it's a tough one now. Before
Would you have
all
had
of
the
this,
itch?
yes.
Would you have had the itch to go to the Olympics if things were different at all?
Possibly.
Yeah.
It kind of changed. My wife and I, we've traveled to a bit of or quite a few countries. But after being married, I've been married 3 years now. After being married for a while, and I've done, I think, 11 countries. Where now it's like saving and planning for what the next step is more important than just getting out and traveling.
Sure. Totally.
But I don't know if you ever met Matt McCarr. He is a brother in UCF, and he's a videographer now, and he just finished up doing videos in, I want to say, Namibia.
Wow.
Namibia.
Namibia. Yeah, I think in Africa.
Yeah, Namibia. That's right. He just finished up doing a bunch of videos there. We were talking on Instagram while he was doing that, and I was like, man, so I would love to go to Africa. Meet somebody I know in Africa and just go on some safaris there.
Oh yeah, I made it to South Africa like 10 years ago.
Nice.
It was a lot of fun.
How'd you like it?
It was great. I mean, like your body clock just automatically adjust kind of. I mean, we got into Cape Town. We spent a couple of days there. My in-laws won like a trip there, and they kind of like converted their first classes into like 6 main cabins, and they got us all there.
Wow.
To safari, and with my wife, brother-in-law, his wife, and you just like you get exhausted by 8 p.m. and then you wake up at like 5 a.m. so that you can go safari at the right time. So it's fascinating. Yeah, it's like it's one of those, not one of those places where you're necessarily gonna have like the dentist that's like shooting the elephant for his ivory for sport. This is more about like, just like driving through, and the guy in the truck has like his rifle just in case. But it was pretty cool, just like seeing it all. Like I didn't appreciate it, I think, as much as if I was to go there again now, but it was this far out. Yeah.
Oh, that's definitely higher on my list than say Europe.
Right.
Definitely Europe, and a little higher than South America. I would love to do South America as well, but and Africa would just be a great experience.
Yeah.
As far as Asia, I wanted to go to the Philippines and Sri Lanka, but it never worked out.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the Philippines would be interesting. I'd like to see the Philippines. My parents, like their helper in their house, like in there forever. Like I think she has like a now hotel back in the Philippines that she helps like own or manage. And I would love to like check it out down the road. But I hear a lot about that place, and yeah, it should be great. Awesome. Do you have any questions for me, sir? As it's our first conversation in 15 years. Although
So what have you been up to?
Oh, geez. I'm trying to get, I'm having interest in actually doing the live comedy again. Like, obviously I did some Zoom in the last year and a half, and I have something in Pennsylvania, and I have something maybe in New Hampshire and maybe in Wisconsin. And I like to get back out there and do grad parties for high schools when, you know, you graduate and you have the all night party and they bring in some wacky entertainer at 3 a.m. That's usually me. So I'm trying to get back out into that. And then I tutor a lot of kids online. It was quite a boon when it happened a year ago, because that's all people were doing. And it's still, you know, it's still some momentum with that. So, you know, keeping on Zoom, keeping people smarter or dumber. I smarten them up when I tutor and I dumb them down when I do comedy. So either way, yeah.
To be honest, I never even heard of Zoom until the pandemic.
That's right.
I was surprised they weren't doing it on Skype.
No, well, with Skype, you can't have a whiteboard and you can't annotate, and there's a lot of stuff you can't do. So I heard of it earlier, and I was listening to this radio show host. He was like, you should buy some stock in Zoom. So I bought a few shares, like, you know, before, and obviously, you know, it went up a ton, but you know, it's not too much, but still it's kind of interesting to kind of be there at the right place at the right time to a degree. I don't get into, I've kind of, I don't know what to do about crypto. I had my crypto fix for a little bit, but I don't know where that's going to go, but yeah, I don't know.
I have appreciated that about getting older, where now it's like, oh man, well, I better diversify and put my money into different things. So yeah, same crypto, some stocks, got the IRA going.
Yeah.
You know, I feel more responsible, more like an adult now.
Yes, I do. I do I have the Acorns app, where it's like they round up on all your transactions, and they kind of like, they invest that in certain ways, and you know, you pay. It's okay. It's good. I mean, you know, to have these other little things just sprinkling around. So, you know, anything happens, they're okay. My family's okay. So, yeah, that's all. I don't know. With the usual, trying to reconnect. I'd love to like do a Theta Chi event again. Just kind of waiting for everything to kind of be done with this, everyone to be done with this, and for the thing to be done with itself, so that, you know, it's
what's your prediction? When do you think everything will be back to normal? And this will be a thing of the past.
I was going off of, well, see, I was never worried to a degree, because I did hear of what Event 201 was, and that timeline, they said 18 months. So that puts us in September. But, you know, it's kind of weird, because it's kind of like this second wind and this variant. I don't know. I don't want to say too much for the sake of you, but you know, I have some viewpoints, and you know, that it's not worth the arguing sometimes with people, but
for sure.
But I would say
the thing is,
timeline wise, go ahead.
No, it's just everybody has their opinion on it, and I feel like everybody's kind of stuck in their opinion, and it's the same with any major political or human rights issue or whatever, where most people have an opinion formed, and you know, you're either going to alienate anger, or they're going to be on the side of you. So it's not really,
I just feel like if you're on the wrong side, it costs you things. Like, it costs you clout, and it costs you reputation, and it's sometimes you can't recover from it. And that's the rough part. And that's why, you know,
so like, I get into this position of, let's say, influence, at least in Vietnam, right? Where people are listening to my opinions, especially on this show. It kind of like, it doesn't follow how I want to conduct myself. Whereas I've said this since before I did YouTube, where I hate when celebrities or influencers or sports people or actors, they share their political or share their opinions on major world issues. Like, who cares? Just go act in the movie. That's all I pay for. I don't care about your opinion. So I tried to vouch that I would never I would never do that on my channel. I even made a video about the election when it was happening, and I built it up and said, who am I going to vote for? I'm not going to tell you, because that's not my job. You need to do your research, you know? I feel like on this issue as well, you know, that's one thing that on my channel or on my platforms, I'm like, regardless of where I stand, my opinion's not important. Do your research, do what you think is best to stay safe, and there you go.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. And if I could predict, I mean, I was thinking September, everything winds down, everyone's back at school, all is good. But, there's some tricky things in terms of getting onto certain campuses. Now campuses are, they mandate certain things or they have certain visitor policies. So I don't know, like, will it take another year for everything to kind of like fall off? Or is this just going to be like a cyclical thing now forever and ever? Because, for those that like control, why would you give it up? So
Of course,
there is that,
of course.
that certain influence as well. So,
That's what I kind of felt like, California, from what I read, I felt like California was like the extreme where, Newsom, he wanted to just hold that control. And then you have like the video of the lady, she built the outdoor seating in her restaurant.
Right.
And then
Angela.
they told her she can't do it. Yeah. And then she's like, oh, but they can film this movie right here.
Right. Oh, I'm glad you saw
that.
that. There was a chance I was gonna like be on the radio with her tomorrow, but I had my anniversary's tomorrow, so I can't do that. Celebrating 15 years, not gonna go to the radio. But I've actually helped a lot with the recall that's gonna be happening in September. I got a lot of signatures, and I'm finishing touches on a song I want to recall. I want to record. And then I'll record the recall song, and it's actually, and it never mentions his name, but I think it's just it has a limited shelf life. But I feel like, it's a cute little thing to do over the summer, as things are popping up. But we're still technically in a state of emergency, so it's rough. But you hope. I always wish him to do well. I always want the governor to do well, and you hope just like a new leaf is turned over with a new day, but you just keep waiting. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's all, man.
I'm hoping we were doing good. So the history with it in Vietnam, where we cut off foreign travel last April.
Wow.
So there have been no tourists in the country in over a year.
Is Vietnam an island, or is it like connected to other country?
No, it's kind of like I don't want to say like Florida, but one half of it is a whole coastline,
right?
And then the other half is landlocked.
Are there nice beaches then? Do you have like beaches?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, cool.
For sure.
Cool.
Yeah, some really good beaches. Let's see. I'll share a picture here in a second if I can get to it. But no, it was one of those things where we were actually doing very well. I mean, the cases were so low compared to other countries, especially like America. And then we had outbreak, and then it was controlled, and then we have this, but then now, starting in the beginning of June, we had some outbreaks during the holidays, and now it's like thousands of cases a day. So it's taken off, and this is one of the beaches here. This is Queen Young Beach.
Wow.
Super clear water in the summer.
Wow. Yeah, we don't have that. We have mostly urine in our water. But that's okay.
But yeah, if it wasn't for this last outbreak, they were talking about letting tourists in under quarantine, before the end of this year. But the way it's looking now, I mean, I haven't been out of the house. I went to get a delivery around the corner of our alley. But besides that one time, like over 3 weeks, I haven't been out of my house.
Wow. Yeah, it's I mean, I just joined a gym in LA County, and they re-put the mask mandate in for indoors. So like, I did have where they walked up to me when I was running on the treadmill, like, you got to put a mask on. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm breathing in and the mask is going into my mouth.
How am I gonna get on the treadmill?
I mean, for everyone's safety, I could be passing out, but I don't even know. So I mean, I ran outside mostly, and but we'll see. There's an injunction filed on that, so we're gonna see what happens with that. But
interesting.
Yeah, it's an interesting time. I mean, we don't get, certain information gets censored, certain people get kicked off, and it's interesting times in letting Silicon Valley kind of run the show. So it's unique. So that's all I'll say about that. But man, I don't know if you have any. So the best way then, what are these YouTube channels for people to follow? Like what the PHUC map, is there the PHUC map channel, and then there's the show channel?
So on the PHUC map channel, I can share it with you, but on the PHUC map channel, I have a playlist, and that playlist will have all the TV shows that I've taken part in.
Nice.
Does
this go on your IMDb? Can you put this on your IMDb?
I hope so. I hope it gets up there. Like I said, I was fairly disappointed because one of the bigger directors in Vietnam. So here, I'll share this right here. Okay. So this
Không
is,
phải như bạn nghĩ đâu.
this was a game show that I was on, but
yeah.
this whole playlist on my channel,
Yeah.
it has the TV show,
that's great.
talk shows,
So
all
great.
this. So these are all the ones I've done. But yeah, so this director, he hits me up. He said, "Hey, I saw your chicken video, the viral one." And he said, "I wanted to be in my movie." I said, "Okay, great." Like the star of the movie.
So
He said,
are you
"No,
like
no."
union? Are you like is this like you just do it like non whatever he can do, or is there like
they just messaged me on Facebook.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, it's nothing.
That's
But he's
funny.
like, "Yeah, I want you to do the movie." I'm like, "Oh, great, like the movie star." He's like, No, just a cameo. I said,
Right.
"Okay, well, what part am I gonna play?" He says, "Remember those women's pajamas you wore in your chicken video?" I said,
Oh.
"Yeah." He's like, "You're gonna wear those." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Wait, what?"
You're gonna be that character.
Yeah, he goes, "Basically, you're just a pervert that lives next door to the main character, but you're the only foreigner in the movie." I was like, "Oh, okay. I mean, I guess I don't really have to act. I'm just a pervert, but okay." But yeah, so we filmed it. It was supposed to come out July 30th, but we'll see if it gets delayed.
Oh, we'll see. We'll hopefully we stream it on Amazon Prime.
Exactly.
I want to get all your links and all your playlist stuff. This is amazing. You are to Vietnam, I guess, what David Hasselhoff is to Germany. So I think
hopefully one day
we're in that sphere. I think we're in that sphere now. You're
just
going
a little bit more around the waistline.
Just like go through that glass ceiling, that inter-Asian glass ceiling. Foreigner pride to the max. Cool, man. Well, I think I'll let you go. I'll let you go and enjoy your Friday. You can tell me now what the future holds because you're 14 hours ahead.
Yes, the future's looking bright. You're not gonna miss much, but just make sure you pay attention and wear your mask, okay? Even when you're on the treadmill.
It's like 0.3 miles on, 0.3 miles off. 0.02 on. It's the extra like competition. Yeah, like I'm like holding it out like 4 inches while I can, because that otherwise I would run longer. But either way, that'll be my saga, my struggle.
Of course.
Yeah.
All right, Evan. I appreciate you having me on, man.
You got it, man. I'll wrap this sucker up.